Katy Perry has been glitching on stage like a broken animatronic at Chuck E. Cheese. Her recent tour has showcased exceptional choreography like fighting an air conditioning duct with a lightsaber. Her dancing is so bad that she has resorted to just merely running in circles, and I guess if you can call this twerking, then sure, that's what she's doing. And this seems like an extreme fall from grace from the candy-coated pop star that once ruled the entertainment industry. Katy Perry's music was once dominating every award show, every radio station, and every teenager's headphones. She was bold, confident, and rebellious, everything the 2010s told young women to be. But somewhere along the way, the persona started to crack. Her image and music was built on female self-expression, then fans found out that this was nothing more than a brand that was carefully crafted by a man, who, by the way, had some serious SA allegations from another beloved pop star. And Katy did not denounce him, she embraced him, which made fans wonder what she truly stands for. Today you will realize that Katy Perry is not just simply being laughed at for a weak performance, her entire manufactured persona is being dismantled, because even from the very beginning, Perry did whatever she could to pander to the masses, starting with her going against her own religious values in hopes of getting a brief moment of universal fame. Now I know the whole selling your soul to the devil trope is a long-standing conspiracy in Hollywood, and many people see it as a weak and uninformed way to pass off criticism to a celebrity that you no longer like. But for Katy Perry, it's different. She literally started out as a gospel singer, then wholeheartedly admits she sold her soul to the devil when her career was not working out.
I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music.
Yeah.
How do you sell your soul to the devil? I'm curious because I would sell my soul in a heartbeat to become a big Twitch streamer or a YouTuber or a Kick streamer or a TikToker, bro. Devil, you just heard my words, now make it happen, please.
But it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
Perry was raised in a traveling religious family by Pentecostal pastors, whose job was mainly to set up different churches across the United States. And while the church didn't outright reject all modern songs, they obviously preferred the music that promoted Christian values, which encouraged Perry to get into performing gospel music. She said, "I was raised in a very pseudo-strict religious household where the only thing on the menu was gospel standards like Oh Happy Day, His Eye is on the Sparrow, and Amazing Grace, all 8 verses of it. So the new kids on the block are new to me now. They're not a comeback." I'm like, oh, this is a cool song. Perry dedicated all her free time to learning how to write songs and play guitar. She often traveled to Nashville where she recorded demos and got the attention of record labels. Noticing the promising young talent, Red Hill Records signed her and assisted in the release of her debut album at age 16. Now, gospel music's religious themes don't align with the broader secular messaging of mainstream pop culture, which limits its mass appeal. So Katy saw poor commercial success with her debut album, and the label shut down prematurely. From there, she had 2 options: stay true to her values and pursue a gospel career even though it would likely not result in money or fame, or go against her values and do whatever it took to become a pop sensation. She chose the latter and moved to California, where she admits that it changed her. Katy successfully rebranded herself when she signed with Capitol Records and released I Kissed a Girl, a provocative pop anthem telling the story of a young woman who experiments with her sexuality. Katy was reasonably anxious about the song's release, not because she didn't think it would be a success, but because this totally went against her religious values and she wasn't sure how this would affect her family life. After convincing her sister to break the news to her Pentecostal parents, the response wasn't entirely positive. They weren't mad, however, they were concerned that this was a sign that Perry was losing her way. On the Call Her Daddy podcast, Perry explained that she wasn't rejecting her parents' traditional values necessarily, but she was discovering that the world is a mixed bag, full of different cultures and beliefs that she had never explored. She said, "I met different people and I'm like, oh, you're not a bad person. I grew up thinking you were this way. I was taught this way. So I saw more humanity. And then even traveling around the world once I had my success, I was like, whoa, these cultures believe in this, and this is how they work." Perry experienced that the world wasn't just black and white, that it's important to have an open mind and treat all backgrounds and ideologies with respect. But this also revealed something interesting about the new pop artist. Perry's own values basically changed overnight. If she's able to change her worldview that fast...
Let me pause real quick. I need to analyze this photo real quick, man. I like it, man. That one is kind of mid. I don't like this left one. That's kind of mid. This one, oh my god, bro. I will watch this video again later when I'm not on stream.
But stopping her from changing whenever a new opportunity comes along that fits her needs, and shape-shifting her values would ultimately be the demise of her career. However, she was about to become an absolute sensation, and her so-called deal with the devil was about to pay off. Perry's first mainstream pop album, One of the Boys, placed a spotlight on her budding career, but Teenage Dream helped establish her as a dominant force in mainstream pop. The project produced a record-tying 5 #1 singles on the Billboard Hot 100, including California Girls, Teenage Dream, Firework, E.T., and Last Friday Night, making her the first woman in history to achieve that feat. Her sound seemed meticulously crafted for radio success, thanks in part to her team of talented writers and producers. At the same time, it still felt fresh and original. The album earned Perry 7 Grammy Award nominations, including Album of the Year, Best Pop Vocal Album, and Record of the Year. Teenage Dream did not just top the charts, it became the soundtrack of a whole generation's lives. Her music was being piped into county fairs, amusement parks, restaurants, and anywhere else you could think of. You couldn't walk outside or turn on the radio without hearing her latest hit, and soon, Katy's face became as recognizable as her voice. She appeared at award shows, made guest appearances on Sesame Street, The Simpsons, and Saturday Night Live, and embarked on a world tour that earned $59.5 million globally. And all of this success was quickly making her a potential face for women empowerment. In fact, in 2012, Billboard named Perry as their Woman of the Year. She was celebrated as a girl boss, feminist icon simply for being a successful woman who embraced her sexuality on stage. Back then, feminism in pop culture didn't require deep political activism. Being confident, glamorous, and in control of your image was enough. By today's standards, this version of feminism is often seen as surface level, lacking the social awareness and advocacy now expected from public figures, which could be why her next album, Prism, contained a little more girl boss undertones, and in some respects, it paid off, showing her growth as an artist while still delivering the kind of catchy, accessible pop music that everyone came to adore. The lead single, Roar, debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and sold millions of copies worldwide, becoming one of her best-selling singles of all time. Other tracks like Unconditionally and Dark Horse still delivered on people's expectations. These tracks weren't just popular, these tracks were inescapable, helping her launch her next big project, the Prismatic World Tour. The tour earned nearly quadruple its predecessor, with Mark Sutherland of Rolling Stone reacting to it positively, calling it loud, garish, camp, and never less than uproariously entertaining, and a show to damage retinas and blow minds. Despite attaining mainstream success just 5 years earlier, Katy Perry's catalog was respectable enough that she was invited to perform at the Super Bowl.
Thank you for giving me a fucking copyright claim when this video goes out, man. You idiot. Why would you put that on YouTube, man? You don't have her permission to share her 5 seconds of music, bro. What's wrong with you?
His halftime performance garnered 118.5 million viewers in the United States, becoming the most watched and highest rated show in Super Bowl history.
This guy just cooked 2 people in one. Like, his content is cooked, so he's not going to be able to monetize this because of the copyrighted music, and my content is cooked even though I don't monetize it, but I could get banned because I'm a small creator and I don't have YouTube partnership to protect me like you do, asshole.
Surpassing Michael Jackson and Beyonce. The viewership was even higher than the game itself, which was viewed by an audience of 114.5 million. At the time, nobody could have imagined pop music without Katy Perry. However,
I get an advert. Go away,
her
advert.
momentum began to slow.
That was a pointless advert as well, man.
A little bit with the release of Chained to the Rhythm, which many described as an awkward attempt at blending pop with political commentary. This was the first sign that Perry was on a different path now. Being appreciated solely for her work wasn't enough anymore. She wanted to be an activist, to become an idol for feminism in a postmodern age. But what she didn't realize is being the political pop star is a tall order to fulfill. And as social media became more popular, celebrities can't control their narratives as much anymore. If you don't practice practice what you preach, you will be exposed, and that damage to your reputation might be too big to repair. Katy Perry spent a considerable amount of time assisting Hillary Clinton on the 2016 presidential campaign trail. She performed at the DNC, made multiple public appearances alongside Clinton, and encouraged her fans to elect the first female president.
I admire so many things about Hilly C. And I agree with many of her informed, educated policies. I think Hillary recognizes all of our voices, and she hears us, she sees us, and she knows that we're stronger together.
Unsurprisingly, her music delved deeper into these political undertones, like these lyrics in Chained to the Rhythm. Are we crazy? Living our lives through a lens? Trapped in our white picket fence? Like ornaments? So comfortable? We're living in a bubble? So comfortable we cannot see the trouble? Suggesting that many people are content living in ignorance, shielded from the consequences of political and social issues.
How did you get that from those lyrics? Those lyrics sounded confusing as fuck to me, but then again, I don't understand politics because I'm stupid.
The song criticizes how society chooses to distract itself, using entertainment and media to numb or avoid uncomfortable truths. The idea being a metaphor for how people unknowingly submit to systems that keep them from engaging with reality. Already, this is too much explanation for a Katy Perry song, and perfectly demonstrates why casual listeners were shocked and confused. The beauty of Katy Perry...
even I was confused, but I'm a dumbass though, so it's valid that I'm always confused 24/7.
His music was its ability to distract people from their everyday lives, not talk about the economic and political state of the world. Katy struggled to present herself as socially conscious to her broader audience without seeming out of touch or opportunistic, especially considering her follow-up singles like Bon Appetit and Swish Swish were rather shallow. According to Cosmopolitan magazine, Bon Appetit was one big metaphor for sex, while Swish Swish was the requisite Taylor Swift diss track. But her
Bon Appetit was sexual. No, I thought it was something that the French say when you're to say enjoy your meal. I must have misunderstood that word. Low key, maybe.
Swish were rather shallow. According to Cosmopolitan magazine, Bon Appetit was one big metaphor for sex, while Swish Swish was the requisite Taylor Swift diss track. But
what did Taylor Swift do to her to make her a diss track on Taylor Swift, man? Why? What did she ever do? She just exists and people just blindly hate her for no reason.
her transformation was truly realized with her shaving her head. Throughout her entire career, Katy Perry sported a classic American pinup girl aesthetic, which is often criticized as a fantasy catered to male desire or the male gaze. Her buzz cut was a sharp rejection of that image. It aligned with a more modern version of femininity, one that values self-definition over male approval. And this was all a part of her 2017 album rollout, Witness, which was her lowest performing album commercially and critically agreed upon as being her worst album to date. Perry was now completely concerned. If she was too progressive, she pushed away her larger audience. If she tried going back to her roots, it would also seem outdated and out of touch. It was kind of a damned if she does, damned if she doesn't situation. However, the real reason Katy Perry was having such a difficult time understanding her fan base is because, well, her best music didn't exactly come from her heart. That credit belongs to her problematic producer and songwriter Dr. Luke, who is responsible for creating the Katy Perry that fans fell in love with. Katy's Witness album was missing
So he was a genius, while Katy Perry was the singer. They worked together and they made something gold. And then she works alone and she makes nothing but shit. So that's why she needs a songwriter. Or a ghostwriter. Because most people refer to songwriters as ghostwriters because it's the person in the background that you don't see. You just see their creativeness in the artist's song.
From Dr. Luke, which is likely why fans didn't connect with it as much. In the past, the producer played a significant role in shaping Perry's career, co-writing and producing I Kissed a Girl and Hot and Cold, two of her breakout singles from...
Ah, that was my first Katy Perry song that I listened to. You're hot and you're cold, you're In and you're out, you're up and you're down. Something like that. I can't remember the song lyrics because I've been listening to other artists like Massive Man, Tom MacDonald and Brendan Hart. I forgot how this song goes, but it was my first time. I remember it as my first Katy Perry song that I listened to. And I thought she was, it was quite nice because they were getting married in the music video. So it was a nice song. For the time anyway. Man, 16 years ago, I'm so old. But then again, I'm older than 16, so I'm not surprised that I've listened to songs that are 16 years old now.
One of the boys. The catchy songwriting and strong pop production saved the dying career of a failed gospel artist. History repeated itself when the pair collaborated on Teenage Dream, where Dr. Luke was responsible for writing and producing California Girls, E.T., Last Friday Night, and The One That Got Away. On Prism,
I loved California Girls because the music video, she has like those the cream bottles on her tits. Oh, I masturbated to that so many times, and when the cream came out, that's when I come. Yep, both creams came out, her cream and my cream, at the same time, doing that music video.
Is credited on almost every song, from pop anthems like Roar and This Is How We Do, to power ballads and hip-hop infused tracks like Unconditionally and Dark Horse. It wouldn't be a stretch to credit Dr. Luke with Katy Perry's success. I'm not saying she isn't capable of writing her own music, but there is a clear trend between her biggest records and Luke. Although she was the voice heard on every track and barred the aesthetic that the fans loved, Dr. Luke wrote the key lyrics that the listeners connected with.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of help. Everybody needs a bit of help sometimes, you know? So he was just trying to make this woman successful, so she can't complain. He made her friggin' bank so much money, bro. Like, I wouldn't be complaining if he made me the same amount of money. I'd be like sucking his dick.
Vision for each song, deciding what story would be told, and what kind of emotion the listener should feel led to a record-breaking career for Katy Perry. However, Dr. Luke was facing serious allegations of SA from another pop star, Kesha, and Katy Perry's attempt
I was about to ask who that woman was. Thank you for clarifying, that's Kesha.
At a balanced or neutral response was seriously destructive. In 2014, Dr. Luke gained widespread media attention after Kesha filed a lawsuit against him. She accused Dr. Luke of
If you want 1,000 wishes...
She's just mad that he made Katy Perry a pop star and never made Kesha a pop star. So yeah, she's just mad, she's just salty, she's jealous that Katy Perry gets all the fan base and she gets none of it because even I didn't know who the bitch was.
And a toothbrush. This isn't for you. Toothbrush brands love selling you gimmicks. Bluetooth.
Don't really care,
Physical
man.
animal.
Do you think I brush my teeth? I'm British.
emotional abuse over the course of several years, starting when she was just 18 years old. Kesha also sought to be released from her recording contract with Kimosabe Records. Her legal team argued that her contract with Dr. Luke's label was oppressive and that being forced to work with her alleged abuser was causing irreparable harm to her career and well-being. The case gained significant public support for Kesha, with many fans, fellow artists, and advocacy groups rallying behind her under the hashtag #FreeKesha. Although Dr. Luke denied all allegations and filed a defamation lawsuit against Kesha, the court of public opinion had already come to a guilty verdict. Any artist collaborating with the disgraced songwriter became public enemy number one. Katy tried to stay radio silent on the matter, but in late 2017 she was subpoenaed to provide a deposition in Kesha's lawsuit against Dr. Luke. In the deposition, Perry explicitly denied ever being R-worded, drugged, or assaulted by Dr. Luke. She went on to explain why she never said anything publicly. "I want to stay out of it because I know them both, and I empathize with both of them, and obviously it's a horrible situation for both of them. And the only two people that know what really went on are those two people."
Exactly, spoken like a true me. Like, that's what I'm saying, bruh. Because, I'm like, yeah, I don't really go into other people's business because I wasn't there, so I don't want to say things didn't go down the way that you're claiming, but why are you bringing me into this? I'm just a bystander in all of this. She thinks just like me, bruh.
Also expressed feeling pressured to support Kesha because she personally knew both people involved. People were generally very angry at me for not saying anything. She said she was annoyed with both of them, and
it's like my best friend had some allegations thrown against him by his then ex-girlfriend, and I was like, I don't really know what went on between you two because I wasn't there. So, don't know why you're talking about this. And later on, other people found out that she was lying about my then best friend, which is no longer my best friend. And they got mad at her. So yeah, but nobody went to court over it. Nobody got arrested over it. Nothing happened over it. People just got mad at my then best friend for allegedly doing that act, and then they got mad at her when they found out that she was lying because my ex-best friend came with the receipts to prove that he didn't do that and that she was lying. So yeah.
Decided to stop working with Dr. Luke because she didn't want to seem like she was picking a side. And while Perry thought she was
I wouldn't pick a side either. Like, if I wasn't there, I don't know what happened, keep me the fuck out of it.
Playing it safe, both fans and critics saw cowardice. She had now spent years fighting for progressive ideals and trying to become a leading voice that empowers women, only to be seen as a hypocrite for not unapologetically calling out an alleged assailant.
So not being there equals that she is validating what he did. No. Not being there is like, I don't know what really went on between the two, but I'm friends with both of them for the time being until like he's guilty in a court of law. That's probably what she meant. But people draw up this conclusion just because she's a public figure that she's a coward just because she didn't speak up against a guy when she doesn't know what the hell went on. And she's not going to just follow the public opinion because she's got standards and morals just like me. Me and Katy Perry are the same people.
As if it couldn't get any worse for her, she exhibited behavior on national television that many interpreted as predatory. In 2018, 19-year-old Benjamin Glaze auditioned for American Idol in hopes of pursuing a music career. After mentioning how his job at an electronics store gave him access to cute girls, Judge Luke Bryan asked Benjamin if he had ever kissed a girl and liked it, a reference to Katy Perry's song, I Kissed a Girl. The flustered teenager innocently said no, revealing how he'd never been in a relationship. A stunned Katy Perry instantly demanded Benjamin to come here right now and kiss her on the cheek. After she deemed the first kiss was not satisfying enough, she instructed him to kiss her again, but turned around at the last second and kissed him on the lips. The judges
Hey bro, I wouldn't be complaining. My first kiss being a pop star? Yes please, kiss me please, Katy Perry. Like Jesus.
High-fived one another, seemingly proud that their co-star deceived a barely legal teen. There was an immense amount of backlash.
Hey, but barely legal is still legal, you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? So many variants of yada I mean, bruh.
And many people noted that if the genders were reversed, this would be an entirely different situation. However, Benjamin defended Perry, stating that although he was uncomfortable because he wanted his first kiss to be special, he was not complaining about the kiss at all. But don't spend any energy feeling bad.
I wouldn't be freaking complaining if Katy Perry kissed me, bruh.
For Benjamin, after all,
I'd reciprocate it.
Was recently arrested for having over 700 images and videos of CP. And while people could have marked this situation as a one-off incident, Perry's interaction with Benjamin caused a video to resurface from 2012 where a 28-year-old Perry groped an 18-year-old Justin Bieber, further showcasing a pattern of creepiness from the singer towards younger boys. However,
lucky bastard.
Nobody ever complained about Perry's behavior since teenage.
Neither did Justin Bieber. He wasn't complaining, that's for damn sure. It looked like the dude liked that shit, bruh.
Boys are expected to enjoy attention from older women. And this all revealed another possible...
Hey, like, it's not an older woman, it's Katy Perry, bruh. She could be 80 and I'd still let her touch my ass.
Layer in Perry's character, separating who she claimed to be and who she actually was. Even longtime fans at this point started to be increasingly skeptical, feeling like she was just another part of the evil Hollywood machine. But it was just going to keep getting worse for Perry. Without the help of the experts to improve her work, her music was in serious trouble. After suffering the first huge series of losses in her career, Perry attempted to course correct with Smile, where she withdrew from political activism and reflected more on her personal struggles. Despite diving into a new territory and embracing a retro pop aesthetic, the project didn't match the boldness, originality, or self-determination of her earlier hits. Where Witness failed by trying too hard to be meaningful, Smile failed by not trying hard enough to be impactful. And because of that, it was another decrease in commercial performance, and yet again perceived as her worst album to date.
I feel pretty confident in saying that this is Katy Perry's weakest album to date.
After Smile was described
I
as
can't speak because I never heard her albums, so I can't speak.
dull and unadventurous, she seemingly took a step back from music, only releasing a couple of singles and remaining relatively out of the spotlight. And with the early 2020s seeing a plethora of other pop stars to choose from, such as Dua Lipa, Tate McRae, Tyla, Olivia Rodrigo, Charlie XCX, Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, pop music fans...
I've never heard of any of those women, to be honest, not gonna lie. They're meant to be celebrities, I've never heard of them.
Just don't need Katy Perry anymore, and while it might have stung to go out on a massive L after Smile, she would have still been considered an undisputed pop legend. But instead, she's making the mistake of trying to compete with the incredible wave of emerging pop stars, and sadly, she's just embarrassing herself. After announcing her exit from the American Idol judges panel, Katy reconnected with these same producers who crafted Teenage Dream, in hopes that lightning could strike twice. The team included Max Martin, Stargate, and controversially, Dr. Luke. These men were tasked with helping breathe new life into her dying career as they attempted to recreate the magic of an album that came out nearly 2 decades ago. Perry's upcoming album, 143, was described as super high energy and filled with pop and dance pop hits that remind people why Katy Perry is one of the highest selling artists of all time. However, the release of this album's lead single, Woman's World, caused smiles to fade as Perry's attempt to deliver a feminist anthem fell short. Perry's take on feminism...
Why the fuck were they using urinals? They know they can't do that unless they're trans.
in 2024 was wildly outdated. It was as if...
You probably notice everywhere that every single dog food is brown.
I don't have a dog. What are you showing me, Mr. Google and YouTube?
A group of men came up with the idea of what a feminist anthem should look and sound like. That's exactly what happened.
Girl boss! You can do it! You go, girl! You were born to shine!
I'm not a girl, bro! First someone assumes that, well, YouTube assumes that I have a dog, and now you're assuming that I'm a woman. Do I look like a woman? I have the physique of a woman, but that's the only thing about me that's a woman. I don't... Actually, I do have boobies because they're growing a little bit, but I'm still not a woman. I'm a guy, and that's my self-identified gender.
And with this set, it's like, ooh, we're not about the male gaze, but we really are about the male gaze. And we're really overplaying it and on the nose because I'm about to get smashed, which is like a reset, and a reset from my...
Did she just say she's about to get smashed? Hey, yo, let me watch that footage, please.
Idea of feminine divine.
Laura Snapes of The Guardian gave Woman's World 1 star out of 5, describing it as garbage. Pitchfork called the track unfathomably tepid, while criticizing the hypocrisy of Dr. Luke's involvement. Many people echoed this exact criticism, wondering how Perry could produce a song suggesting she stood beside all women while in the studio with a man accused of using his power as a man in the industry to take advantage of a young female artist. 143 absolutely bombed commercially and had 2 other singles that many are not even aware of because they didn't chart. The project as a whole received overwhelmingly negative reviews, largely due to outdated production and uninspired songwriting. It was so bad that critics speculated whether artificial intelligence was used in the process of making the album.
The entire rollout has been mystifying and perplexing to me. In interviews, she's just completely skipping over the fact that everybody hated Woman's World, and that everybody's mad at her for working with Dr. Luke.
Talking about Woman's World, what are you meant to be? A woman or a man? I can't see any tits, so I think you're a man, but at the same time, I think you're a woman at the same time. I don't know what this person is, bro.
She couldn't even intelligently defend herself with that one. She said, I just wanted to, so I did, and I don't think it's a big deal. Huge miscalculation, and look what it led to, karma. Karma has come to collect its return.
And while literally nobody was falling for this idea that Katy Perry was the leader of the feminist movement, she was still trying to stick to the female empowerment message that she had failed to execute for years and years and years. But she once again tried by promoting a Blue Origin space launch program organized by owner and CEO Jeff Bezos and his team of engineers.
Hey, Jeff Bezos, the Amazon guy, man. Like, him.
The idea was to show a team of modern women who played a role in a new mode of space travel.
One by one, they ring a bell.
Is here.
Gail, who has a fear of flying, looks terrified. The all-woman crew joined hands in prayer. Then it's time to climb into the capsule.
And immediately, nobody was falling for this marketing stunt. From the ceremonial bell ringing to how the group started calling themselves astronauts, the optics were terrible, and fans didn't hold back. They aren't crew, they aren't astronauts, they're rich chicks who paid a hefty sum to subsidize Blue Origin. The first all-female spaceflight was Valentina Tereshkova in 1963. Don't let them erase our history for cringe billionaire PR. The supposed first all-female astronaut team was like living satire to the average person. They were only in space for a few minutes, and while they were there, none of them were controlling the machinery to make this possible. It also didn't help that Katy Perry spent most of her time promoting her upcoming tour instead of experiencing a miracle of modern engineering in the moment. This is beyond tone deaf. I went on a Carnival cruise the other day. I am now an explorer. Even comedians like Tim
Hey, I'm an explorer too, so you're not alone, brother.
Dillon couldn't help but make fun of the obvious publicity stunt, pointing out that Perry and the other women involved didn't seem to understand that making this news was the worst possible decision.
And singing Imagine, but we're all here. These people should have just quietly done this. How cool, because by the way, no one would hate you. You would have went to space, it would have been fun, and then no one would have hated you. Everyone hates you now. All you had to do was keep your mouth shut about a cool rich thing you did, while the economy, by the way, the economy is crumbling. I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
And as if Katy Perry's public
And who asked for your opinion on them going to space, bro?
relations couldn't get any worse, she embarked on her Lifetimes tour, which has become an absolute disaster, with footage from the tour showing Perry performing mostly low-effort, cringeworthy choreography that doesn't match the same aesthetic advertised on the album.
Again with the copyrighted music, bro. You are cooking two people at the same time, yourself and me, by all this copyrighted music.
Onlookers like Joe Vito commented on Perry's unimpressive middle school musical level choreography and said that Perry's tour didn't hold a candle to pop artists like Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift. Perry seems to be going through some sort of celebrity midlife crisis. Now at 40 years old, she is aggressively twerking on stage, falling into splits in hopes of recapturing her youth. She kind of just looks lost up there. It's like a woman who has pandered so many different ways that she looks absolutely confused on stage, just doing literally anything to make a spectacle because being a jester is the last chance she has at remaining relevant. Now, if this were an isolated incident, people would probably laugh and move on. But night after night, Katy's tour performances keep getting worse, and she's figured out a way to turn herself into a joke consistently in the past year. She's become the kind of person that many just love to hate, and for a pop star, this is the kind of trap that is nearly impossible to escape. Katy Perry's story is a classic case of stand for nothing and you'll fall for anything. It may seem like she's being overly criticized for some silly dance moves and taking a 5-minute trip to space, but this is because of her long history of political pandering, virtue signaling, and not standing for those morals that she claimed to have. Nobody actually knows who Katy Perry is supposed to be, and the most interesting part about all of this is that if her new music was good, most people wouldn't care about all the drama. Unfortunately, she seems to have lost her touch in the studio, or lost her resources, and with other great pop stars dominating today, it's hard to see what value Katy Perry brings to pop music in 2021. 2025. The spotlight didn't leave her, she just stopped shining in it.
My competitors think
But now that people love to hate Katy Perry, I might actually support her music. Because I like to support those that everybody hates, because I can relate. I've been hated online too, and people are friggin' mean, bro. People are mean.